I want to make this video specifically for people that are currently battling social anxiety. This will probably be the craziest thing you might ever hear somebody say about social anxiety. You probably feel bad for yourself considering your social anxiety paralyzes you from being able to have a healthy social life and a healthy relationship with other people. But just hear me out. Your social anxiety could very well be a blessing in disguise. Because your social anxiety could be God's hand of protection over you. Because if you didn't have social anxiety, you might end up associating with the wrong people, being around the wrong people, doing the wrong things, being at the wrong place at the wrong time, making poor decisions. Because it is my personal belief that social anxiety is rooted in a need for acceptance. It's a form of people-pleasing turned inward. Many people with social anxiety don't feel like they measure up to other people. So subconsciously, this makes them anxious. Because if somebody wasn't afraid of what other people thought about them, or if somebody wasn't afraid of rejection, or somebody didn't care, they wouldn't have social anxiety. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to care about other people, or it's a bad thing to want to make a good impression. But with social anxiety, it's an excess. And I believe that social anxiety is rooted in the trauma of rejection. Now, me having said what I believe is the root of social anxiety, which is, again, people-pleasing, caring what other people think, not wanting to be rejected. If one with social anxiety, or you who's watching this who has social anxiety, if you didn't have social anxiety, but you had still had all these characteristics and were confident in social situations, think how much of a danger you would be to yourself. Because you'd be trying to win the approval of the wrong people. You would try to gain acceptance from the wrong people. You would be caring about what the wrong people think about you. Your anxiety could be your intuition setting up a barrier to protect you. So, if you have social anxiety, it could very well be a blessing. Now, as I conclude this video, I want to say, use all discernment when watching this video. Test the spirits. Test everything I say in prayer. Because I am just going from my own personal experiences, having battled social anxiety. I would have been in a lot more trouble than I already was in if I didn't have social anxiety. I would have been a lot more uninhibited. I would have been troublesome. I would have been more arrogant. And I would have been more daring. I wouldn't have fought through my intentions as much. And honestly, I would probably have destroyed myself in the process if it wasn't for social anxiety. Because my social anxiety kept me from being able to fully manifest my intentions and my desires and who I really wanted to be at the time, which wasn't a good way of being. So consider yourself blessed if you have social anxiety, because that world out there, it's not as great as it seems. And another thing I've noticed about people with social anxiety, and this doesn't apply to everybody who has social anxiety, but I noticed that people that have social anxiety are often more intelligent than other people. Their intentions and their motives are usually more pure-hearted, and they care more about other people. But this can be a blessing and a curse at the same time, as many of you already know. But again, keep your focus on God. Every time you have an anxious thought about yourself or somebody else or how you are perceived by other people, automatically cast that thought down and think about God. If you can't do that, then just meditate on your favorite Bible scriptures. When you instinctively start focusing on God, it becomes second nature for you to pursue your relationship with God. Once that's the center of your focus, watch what happens. Your social anxiety will begin to disappear. For me, it wasn't coping techniques. It wasn't therapy that worked. It wasn't what other people's advice was that helped me. But it was a long journey of learning who I was, created to be by God. It was a lot of prayer, a lot of fasting. And yes, it won't happen overnight. But it will happen over time.